You know I love to play with weird things, right? So today we're going to look at some fruit desserts off the smoker. So we've got watermelon. I took a seedless watermelon and cut basically fillets, for lack of a better term, off of it. Threw them in the fridge with a paper towel on there to take some of the surface moisture off of there. Now I threw a little bit of sea salt on there. I will say this, I have seen a few things online. Most of them compare smoking watermelon, not grilling it works, but smoking watermelon to a crime against humanity, and that I might possibly be damning my soul forever. I don't know, we'll find out. What the hell, right? The other thing I've got here is peaches. Now I have grilled peaches any number of times, and they're delicious. You can do a lot of different things. They come through so sweet anyway. I didn't do anything with these other than put some cinnamon on there. These ones might not be as sweet. It is early in the season, and they're not the Freestones, so I kind of had to dig the pits out a little bit on some of them. But I've got basically just peaches with cinnamon. We're going to put it on there low 225, and we're going to play with the time a little bit and just see how it does. I don't know what's going to happen. What the hell? Can't hurt. 30 minutes in, I just flipped them over. We started face down with the peaches, flipped them over here, and then flipped over the watermelon as well. I'm going to take a piece of the watermelon and just see how it's doing. I'm pretty confident that an hour is right for the peaches. I'm less sure about the watermelon. Interesting. I'm going to let it sit on there a little bit longer though. Alright, there's an hour in. I had 30 minutes flip, 30 minutes more. It wound up running around 200 for most of the run. It is cherry wood, fairly light smoke, enough to keep it going, but nothing really overwhelming. I didn't want to blow it out because the watermelon peach is kind of delicate anyway, so I'm interested to see how these go. I did try the watermelon at 30 minutes just to see if it was ready to come off or if it needed a little bit longer, and put it back on. I would say my first taste, it did not taste like an affront to God, which was the consensus on the internet, is that it was a horrible idea and no one should ever do that. I mean, it was tasted fine to me. So let's get these in and see how they ended up. Smoked watermelon, smoked peaches. Watermelon, I just sliced it into more or less fillets, put a little sea salt on each side, and put it straight on the grill for 30 minutes each side. And the peaches, I just cut them in half, took out the pits, and all I've got on there is some cinnamon. I'm thinking, looking at these, I wouldn't mind throwing them on for a quick sear on the grill. We'll see how we did right now without that. Interesting. Tasted better at 30 minutes. This one's a little bit thicker. I'm going to go to this one. That's better. So I'm going to say at 30 minutes it was not bad, this one. It had a little bit of flavor to it, but it didn't taste like too much. Now it does. I didn't like this one as much. This one is better. It is a little bit thicker. As you can see, it's about probably 40% thicker than this one. So that would make sense. It hasn't permeated through there. It's different. It's interesting. I mean, it wouldn't be my favorite thing on the planet, but I wouldn't be offended mortally to throw it on there and give it a shot. I wouldn't go more than about a half hour with it though. You go much more than that, if it starts to taste like this, that's a little much for me. You can actually tell looking at it. It's a little over here. Let's try this side back here. This looks a little bit less done. Less done, has a little bit of flavor to it. It's a little bit different. I mean, I'd still just sit there and eat watermelon, right? Watermelon is designed to be cool, fresh. Just pound it down. Other than the sugar, there's really nothing to be concerned about. Tastes great on a hot day. If I was going to do it, I would definitely keep it on the lighter side of the cook, because where it is cooked less, it is definitely better. Alright, let's take a look at these peaches. Still a little firmness to there. I did say at the beginning, these peaches were not as ripe as I might normally like. It is early in the season. It's what I had and I felt like doing it, so what the hell. Alright, so again, this was 30 minutes each side, nothing on there but cinnamon. So the downside here is that, again, these peaches were not as ripe, so they weren't quite as sweet anyway. So there's not as much of the sweet coming out as there has been when I've grilled them in the past. I'm gonna crank the grill up and throw them on there to hit one side just to see if it makes a difference. Kind of do a reverse sear on a peach. Why not? We're gonna give that a shot. These two back on the grill. I did about a minute on each side. You can see a little bit of a grill mark there. They definitely smell more fragrant. Makes me think that for these peaches at least, they probably could have stood to be cooked a little bit longer. Again, early season, they're not quite as sweet. If they were later in the season, you probably would have been fine with the hour. But let's see how we did here. See if these are better. I could have also put some sugar on there. I was trying to avoid that. I wanted to just go with the natural sugars. So that's why I didn't do it. I wanted just to see how the smoke in the peach itself would taste. So all I did was cinnamon. But obviously if I'd put more sugar on there, it would have come through more sweet. So definitely makes a difference. Still not as sweet as I would have thought or what I would have liked. Okay, should I smoke that? Watermelon. It is not an affront to God. It is not the worst idea ever. It's not a horrible, horrible thing. You do have to be careful. Cut it a little bit thicker, and I would take it off no more than 30-40 minutes. But it's an interesting flavor. Should I smoke it? Yeah, I mean, it's not the worst thing in the world, but I wouldn't rush out to do it. If the smoker's already on, you got some watermelon sitting there, throw it on. Why not? What the heck? Just be careful not to overdo it. I wouldn't fire up the smoker to do watermelon, however. As for the peaches, I'm going to reserve judgment on this one until the next time when I have better peaches. These were not as sweet as I would have liked anyway, and I'm not happy with the outcome of it, but I think it could be a lot better with a better peach. So, should I smoke it? I'm still going to say yes, but we'll wait and see the next time when I get better peaches.